Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, helping you earn more, spend less, and invest the difference. So today we're going to be talking about credit cards, specifically which credit cards are going to give you the highest initial credit limit. Now when I talk about which cards are going to give you the highest possible upfront credit limit, obviously that's going to be dependent on the individual. This is all going to be based on my personal experience of having over 40 different credit cards from a wide variety of card issuers. Now, just because I've had good luck with some companies doesn't necessarily mean that you will have the same results. All of our credit profiles are different. We all have different ages of our credit score, different income levels, different credit scores itself, etc. So once again, I have to reiterate that this is all based on my personal experience. Individual results may vary. But having a high limit credit card is important for a couple of different reasons. First off, if you have any big bills coming up, then you need a high limit credit card in order to pay for those bills if you're trying to get any kind of points or cash back, etc. For example, my HVAC unit recently went out about a year ago, and it cost me close to $7,000 to replace that unit. I put all of that spending on a credit card and paid it off in full the next month and was able to get hundreds of dollars worth of points and cash back because I put that purchase on a credit card. In addition to that, your credit score is going to be very reliant on your overall credit limit and your credit utilization rates. So 30% of your total credit score, it's the second largest category right behind do you pay your bills on time, is going to be your credit utilization rate. And this is a ratio between how much credit you have available versus how much you're spending. So obviously the more you have available, the lower that ratio is going to be, and that's going to increase your overall credit score. Now, like I said, obviously individual results may vary. This is based on my experience with a bunch of different credit cards, but also this is only going to be for your upfront credit limit approval. Now, obviously over time, some issuers are more likely to give you periodic raises to your credit limit, but that takes time and it's never a guaranteed thing. So simply applying for cards that are likely to have a higher initial credit limit is probably going to be the best way to go about getting some high limit cards. So let's get straight into it. All right, so the card company, in my opinion, that gives overall the best credit limits initially, Chase. Chase is kind of the king of all things credit card related. They have, at least in my opinion, not only the best cards when it comes to rewards and points and things like that, but they're also extremely generous with their initial credit limits. Now, as a general rule of thumb, the more prestigious a credit card is, the more likely that you are going to have a pretty high credit limit associated with that card. Not always, but it's a pretty good rule of thumb. For example, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it's their premium travel credit card. It has a $550 annual fee. This card, you actually cannot be approved for it if they can't give you at least a $10,000 credit limit. But in addition to the Chase Sapphire Reserve, a lot of their mid-tier to introductory credit cards are also going to likely have a $10,000 or more initial credit limit. For example, their Chase Sapphire Preferred, I have a lot of their Southwest credit cards, and even the Freedom line, the Freedom Unlimited and the Flex, all of these cards, for me, have at least a $15,000 credit limit associated with all of these cards. So for anyone interested in starting off, I highly recommend eating up as many Chase credit cards right off the bat as possible, because Chase has their notorious 524 rule, which means you will be automatically denied if you have applied for 5 or more cards in the last 24 months. So generally speaking, you want to load up on the Chase cards before venturing out into some of these other branded credit cards. Up next at number 2, Barclays. Now, Barclays gives some pretty ridiculous credit limits on their cards. The only problem with some of the Barclays cards, at least in my opinion, is as far as actual rewards and points and things like that go, they're not exactly the greatest. They're not terrible, don't get me wrong, but they're not on par with Chase or American Express. So a lot of the Barclays cards have to do with niche traveling. So they're going to have a lot of the individual airlines or individual cruise lines. So for example, they have JetBlue, Hawaiian Air, American Airlines, Hawaiian, etc. And these credit cards are going to have very generous credit limits initially. So I think my JetBlue card started me off with an initial credit limit of about $22,000. And that's pretty impressive, all things considered. Now the card itself, like I said, is a little bit lackluster. It offers 3 points per dollar spent at JetBlue Airlines and then 2 points for restaurants and dining. But if you're looking for initial sign-up bonuses and that high initial credit limit, then any of these Barclays cards are going to be fantastic. Up next at number 3, Capital One. Specifically the Capital One Saver card, in my opinion, that's going to give you a very high overall credit limit. And the nice thing about the Saver card is that it has sort of some niche categories as far as cashback and points go. In the entertainment, it's going to give you 4% points on any kind of entertainment that you spend. Now this card does have a $95 annual fee. If you're not interested in spending that $95 per year, then you can get the Saver One credit card, which is a no annual fee version of the Saver credit card, and it's going to just give you 1% cash back less. So it's going to give you 3% cash back instead of 4% cash back on these niche categories. Now Capital One is another credit card company that is very picky about the number of credit cards that you've opened up recently. In fact, Capital One is the only person to ever have denied me for a credit card. A while back I applied for their Saver credit card and I was denied outright. Reason being, they said I had too many recent inquiries and too many recent credit cards. So I just waited a handful of months, reapplied, and was able to get the card then. So just like the Chase line of credit cards, make sure that you are spreading your inquiries out when you're applying for any Capital One credit cards. And last but not least, number 4, I know a lot of you are probably waiting for me to say American Express. But in my opinion, American Express has not treated me nearly as well when it comes to the overall credit limits as some of these other credit card companies have. And some of their cards, like their colored cards, the green, gold, and platinum cards, those are going to be charge cards, so they don't even have a credit limit, so it's not going to help you out. So the number 4 that's actually going to make my list is not American Express, contrary to what some of you might think. It's actually going to be the various credit union credit cards, specifically anyone that normally deals with military. So places like Navy Federal Credit Union, USAA, or PenFed, these guys give enormous credit limits right off the bat, even typically for people that have relatively little overall credit history. I think USAA was my second ever credit card, and I was not making very much money at the time, and they gave me a $27,000 credit limit on my USAA credit card. So if you are associated or affiliated with the military in any way, maybe you have a family member or you're a dependent of a military member, then USAA, Navy Federal, or PenFed are going to be fantastic options for you guys. And even if you are not directly associated with the military, PenFed can be joined simply by making a $5 deposit into either a checking or savings account, and then they will accept you as a member, and then you can apply for all of their PenFed credit cards. So not only does PenFed give some pretty high credit limits, but they've also got a couple of fairly decent credit cards, including their PenFed Platinum credit card. This card is going to give you 5 points per dollar on all gas purchases, and this is going to be unlimited, so that's going to be really nice for you guys out there with a side hustle. Maybe you drive for Uber and Lyft on the weekends, or maybe you're just a truck driver. Ever since the Ducks Unlimited credit card went away, this has been one of the staple go-to cards for all gas purchases. So that's going to do it for us today, folks. The 4 best companies when it comes to getting high limit credit cards. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. And as always, I'll see you all again next time. Thanks.